Hi, my name is Joe Rivera, and welcome to a very special edition of the Girls on a Mission Summit 2014. We are super excited and honored to welcome the gentleman behind an enormous movement towards Christ in Hollywood. He drives the PureFlix Entertainment commitment to a movie ministry outreach, whose mission is to impact our culture for Christ through an encouraging message, a promise of hope and deliverance. Please join me with a very special Natasha's Mission of Truth welcome for Mr. Russell Wolfe, CEO and co-founder of PureFlix Entertainment. Russell, we're so glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
It's an honor. I can't imagine what your day must look like. So thanks for taking a few minutes out to encourage our audience today. We'll jump right in.
All righty.
Okay, so first let me congratulate you on the incredible success of God's Not Dead, the movie. Are you kind of surprised by its mainstream success?
Well, I'd say, we hoped that it would be a blessing for everybody that saw the movie, and even when we were filming it, we thought it would be. But yes, we were surprised at how many people came out to see it, support it, and all the comments that we got back from it. So it's been a huge blessing, I believe. We hope that God will use this film to touch people's hearts and change their lives. And it looks like he has, so we couldn't be happier.
It was very impactful for us. We took a group of 25 youngsters out to actually see the film at its first showing, and I love how the revival took place in our youth group.
Yeah, one of the things that I love seeing once we got into theaters is the way the audience responded. Because, it wasn't just a movie that touched your heart, but it also encouraged people. And I think built people up in their faith. And that's one of the stories that we heard over and over again, is that it encouraged them, it built them up. They even learned a few things, or maybe learned some things that they knew before, and it reminded them. But it brought people together as one, and you could see the camaraderie of Christians getting together, like-minded people all together in one theater, cheering and clapping and just enjoying their faith and having their common bond. Yeah.
Yeah, they come on, and I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but I'll tell you my phone was going off for weeks.
Oh, right, yeah. Isn't that great?
That was super cool. Well, understand that you came up with the idea for this movie ministry sitting on a plane next to a missionary. Will you share that story with us?
Yeah, well, the initially what happened is Mike Scott and I and his dad, we used to go on mission trips over to Malaysia and different areas over in the east. And we basically go deep into the jungles, taking the gospel to the ends of the earth was the idea. Going in where tribes were and helping out and praying with them and preaching. And it was on the way back from one of those trips that I was sitting next to Mike Scott's brother, Tim Scott, where we started talking about, it was sort of the idea of creating a mission trip. They would do just that, continue to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. That conversation ended up turning into a TV show called Travel the Road. And we saw the success of that. And when I say success, I talk about how it impacted people's lives and how they were touched and inspired. And from that, we thought, well, what if we could do that with feature films? And so Mike Scott got together with Dave White in California, and then the three of us put together the company PureFlix to do just that, to have an impact.
I love that. Natasha's Mission of Truth, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We support teenage girls who I'm sorry, we're lagging here.
That's all right. Yeah.
All right. Time check. Natasha's Mission of Truth actually supports teenage girls in the mission field. So I love that while you were out taking the message to the tribes of the world, following biblical guidance, that you came up with this multimedia idea. proven to be a world changer.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just God moving in our lives, and it took Mike Scott and Dave White and his experience and my experience to pull this together, and then we just went out with the dream and the idea of having an impact on culture for Christ, because we felt that media was the most powerful medium to get that message out there. And though many people have tried it in the past, it's a difficult thing to do. So, not that we're that great, I'll tell you that. It's just that we've been blessed in the way that we put it together. And so, yeah, we just feel blessed about that.
Well, I love how God used our day-to-day interactions to create amazing opportunities like this. I'm sure that you never saw it would be as big as it is. And you
Yeah.
have such a powerful vision for PureFlix. Why the sense of urgency?
Well, the fast pace that our culture is moving and the direction that it's moving, we feel that this is a way that we can help people stay grounded. And so it's through entertainment. And one of the things I say quite often is that, when you get people together in a room to see a movie, they're in a dark room and they're up there looking at that screen. And for that time period, that movie can take them places where they wouldn't even allow their best friend to take them. And that could be for good or bad. And so what we're hoping is to use that time to impact their life in a positive way, stories of redemption, build them up in their faith, and keep them strong as they go through their daily lives.
It's so good. In your vision cast, you talked about in the midst of a culture war like never before, that battling a battle for the hearts and minds and souls of every human, an assault on the marriage and family, the sanctity of life, and ultimately the war on God is unprecedented. And do you think that due to that, there's just a hunger for the message that PureFlix is presenting?
I do. I believe there's a hunger for it and the need for it as well, and that we need to be equipped to handle the onslaught of what we're facing on a daily basis so that we can remain strong. One of the things that I loved about God's Not Dead that I saw happening was that, for the most part, in the media, Christians are like, oh, you're over there. It's like, oh, they believe in that, downplayed. Actually, not so intelligent if you believe in that whole idea, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's sort of the sentiment that's out there. And so what we tried to do with God's Not Dead is show that you don't have to check your brain at the door in order to be a Christian. And so basically what it's done is it's provided that confidence. And you could see that in the audiences. By the time they left, they're like, yes, that's why we believe. And then they could stand up and with confidence and together. And then I love the fact that when it pulled everybody together, it was an experience the whole audience felt. And when people were walking out of there, you could see it because people that didn't even know each other were going up and talking to each other and encouraging each other even further. And I think it's that encouragement that we need. It's that confidence we need to stand on the word. And it's that inspiration that we know we're heading in that direction. And it's support for each other.
I just love, and this is ultimately where we're going with Natasha's mission, is in proof that when you became obedient, the Lord planted a seed, and now He is reaping the impact of thousands of lives around the world because you listened, and that began. When did you begin going on mission trips?
Gosh, it was back in 97.
I didn't mean to age you like that, but we've been doing this for
Yeah.
a while apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And so from that time, it's evolved. It's say we started PureFlix back in 2005 with the idea of getting a consistent flow of product to this market so that they have a different entertainment option. And so we have about 80 films in our library, some of which you can see on Netflix, but mostly on DVD. And they're on some of the networks as well. But the idea was to provide people with this content that if they want to see a different movie every month, they don't have to look to the mainstream, but they can find a PureFlix movie that would encourage them, build them up in their faith and their walk, and help them stay steady as they go forward.
Well, and as a parent, I really appreciate that. It's so hard to find something. We have 7 kids that run the gamut from age 5 to 17.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
We're developing our own missionary thing going on here,
Yeah,
but
you are.
but it's so difficult to find a film that the whole family can enjoy, that we as parents feel good about them watching by themselves, let alone all of us together. And we have been honored to be able to share not one, but as a mom, I took about 20 of my church friends to see Mom's Night Out. What a
Oh,
ministry that was to us.
oh, that's great. Yeah, just a little break. Yeah, you could relate to a lot of the storylines in that, right?
Unfortunately, all of them.
Yeah, there you
Yeah, I think one of my kids has even been taken by a biker at some point, but
go.
I,
That's funny.
it was wonderful, and actually has launched a ministry at our church. I now run a Bible study called Mom's Night Out. So I think that,
Nice.
again, you don't even know the impact of what it is you're producing at this point.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, the trickle down effect. One of the things that we have is a movie ministry, and it's a PureFlix movie ministry, and we license the films to the churches along with Bible studies that they can use that as well. And some of the stories that we get back from that are absolutely amazing.
We'll have to contribute to that. In just a minute, I'm going to let you tell us how. As a parent, one of the things I love as well is the promise of PureFlix. Again, I refer to your vision cast in that the films will be compelling, enlightening, life-altering, sometimes humorous, and with a clear portrayal of forgiveness, redemption, love, and faith that will engage people to their pursuit of God. Why is that so personal to you?
Well, I think without that, then we're not really serving the community, the faith-based community the way we should. And I think by doing it, what we're doing is we're providing a real life examples of how you can take the gospel and incorporate it into your life. And so what we hope through these different stories that people can relate to certain aspects of the various stories and then apply Christian values and God's truth to their life because they can relate to how it happened in other people's lives.
And that's a great segue back into this experience that you offer churches, the Bible study and application. Part of your outreach is to serve alongside churches, schools. How can our audience partner with PureFlix Entertainment?
Well, if you go to pureflix.com, you'll see a link on pureflix.com for the PureFlix movie ministry, and then you can get your church involved in that as well. And since we have movies coming out every month, they can end up bringing those in. Because, that may be too often for a church, but maybe every other month, people get involved. It's a great event they do at the various churches. Youth groups go out to a Costco or whatever and get Cokes and popcorns and candies, and they sell those for a fundraiser, and then they have the movie and the Bible study. It's a great fellowship for the church.
That's a great idea. Well, this summit is about offering encouragement to our teenage girls. So, what would you, with a young girl seeking Christ in her life that has an interest in film, maybe she's an actress, maybe she's a filmmaker, what encouragement would you give her in making sure that she's serving in that way?
Well, I think even in individual communities, no matter where they are, there's a lot that could be done. And they could get involved with their church. I mean, that would be one way that they could start serving that. I mean, if they wanted to get into acting, that's a whole different route, of course. And the majority of that takes place in LA, And but it doesn't mean that they can't get involved in that in their own community as well. But being involved in their church and bringing that movie ministry, I mean, most of the time the churches need somebody to spearhead those projects or those events within the church. And churches are overloaded as it is with all the different tasks that they have. Therefore, if people wanted to sort of take over that movie ministry or create that in their church, that would be a great way to get involved and have a big impact.
That's a great idea. I love that you used a word that actually has been brought to us a couple times during our summit, and that's confidence. And I think that you alluded to in providing encouragement that your films do that by giving an education that they can be confident about their faith as they move forward.
Yeah, well, not only confident, but what that does, that gives them the confidence to step out in faith. I mean, in all parts of our life, God is asking us to do that, to be faithful and step out in faith. And I think whether it's what we're doing in creating a film or even somebody helping out within a church to bring the movie nights into the church, I mean that's a step out and time and effort that they could take a stand in and see how many lives can be impacted through this.
That's really, I love that, stepping out in faith. Well, can you share with us some adult encouragement? How would a parent or a leader, how can they support the young adult who's seeking to do that? If you spoke to someone and they're excited about bringing a movie to church, how can we as parents support that?
Well, I think probably to help them get the information and then go through it because we have sort of a meeting in a box set up already for anybody that wants to bring a movie ministry into their church. And if a young person wants to do that, maybe the parent can help them walk through that to help organize it. It's literally laid out step by step in the preceding weeks up to your movie night, everything that needs to take place. And so it makes it very easy for the individual who has a heart to help organize that to put that together. But maybe the adults can help shepherd them through that.
That's well said. And not only are you producing incredible films that are touching the world, but you're providing tools for us to touch the community in which we live, and we're extremely grateful. So before we close, Russ, is there anything that you would like to share with our audience?
No, just to take the encouragement, the what God has built you up, and whatever dreams that you have, whatever dreams the girls have as well. Just know that God's there for you. And then one of the messages that I love that we had in God's Not Dead is God has you right where He wants you. There's circumstances that put you there, and maybe because of the fallen world, things haven't gone exactly the way you wanted them to, but God can turn that for good. And so wherever you are, know that He's in control. Know that He's going to turn that around and look for all the different opportunities that God could open up for you.
I can't think of a better way to end the 2014 Girls on a Mission Summit. Russell Wolfe, I am so glad that you joined us today. Thank you for your time, your passion, your commitment to impact our culture for Christ. I think that we can join you on that. To learn more about PureFlix Entertainment, the movie ministry, its films, and of course the new God's Not Dead curriculum, they can visit pureflix.com, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, fabulous. Well, thank you again for joining us, and join us as we impact our culture for Christ along with Russell Wolfe and PureFlix Entertainment. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.